Hello, everyone. My name is Duncan White. I am the managing editor of the International Fire and Safety Journal, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Andy Spence, Joint Managing Director at Britannia Fire. Andy, hello, my friend. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Duncan. Yeah, all very good, thank you. And enjoying the sunny weather, which is a rarity in this country.
It is indeed, but who knows? It may be something that we come to get used to. But then again, I am the eternal optimist. So we're going to look into composite fire extinguishers today on this podcast with Andy Spence, and looking at fit for the future, looking at composite cylinders, looking at what they bring to the market compared to our old friend the steel cylinders. And again, we know we've heard all about the fact that they're easier to maintain, longer lasting, and better for the environment. But it's all very well me telling you that. We need to speak to the man that knows all about that. So, Andy, let's kick off in terms of how the P50 extinguisher and how it's superior to the traditional models in terms of durability and maintenance.
Yeah, sure. I mean, composites themselves are used in many different variations of products nowadays. We used to have steel manhole covers. We now got composite manhole covers. Planes on airplanes are now composite, so they've got the strength, the durability. They've got the lightness as well that comes with it. But in a fire extinguisher, it gives us that durability. We can't keep doing what we've done for years and years, which is just keep throwing these units away after 5 years and replace them with a new one. It needs new thinking. It needs longevity, and that's what it brings, with the added value of no additional service costs.
And that in itself, in terms of no annual service costs, is a real game changer. And when you look at facilities managers that have got hundreds, if not thousands, of extinguishers on some of their sites, the ability to know that they're taking an extinguisher that hasn't got to go through that annual rigmarole must be a huge relief for them.
Absolutely, but it's not all about the cost saving. I mean, the cost saving is a big plus. Don't get me wrong, but there are many other things that you have to take into consideration. And the vast amount of clients that we have now, they all seem to buy the product for a different reason, or different reasons to what we expect. For example, we have Brinks Mat as a customer, for security reasons. They don't want people going into their premises, so that's a big tick in the box for them. We've got a lot of work now in airports. Heathrow is our flagship install, but airports, to get people into an airport to service fire extinguishers can take a couple of hours to get them on airside. They've got tools that need to be screened and go through all the normal checklists that you have to do. So avoiding all of that, which comes at a cost, and the end user typically pays that fee, we can eradicate those as well. So not only are we better for the environment and the cost savings as well, it's giving you the whole 20-year lifespan as well. So it's a win-win for the customer.
Very much so. Andy, you touched there on the environmental impact. So tell us a bit more about the benefits of carbon fiber over steel in relation to the environmental impact.
Yeah, so when we look at manufacturing any products and bringing new things on stream, we always look at the recyclable element. So what can we recycle afterwards? But about 6 months ago, I had this mindset and thinking, yeah, what can we do afterwards? But then I thought to myself, well, hang on a minute, why don't we take it the other way? So we look at recycled units that we can use at the beginning, and then an alternative method, so at the end of its life. So what can we use? So, for example, the hoses on the extinguishers can be chopped up for equestrian matting or play surfaces for playgrounds and what have you. So it's looking at all these different things and saying, right, what can we find? And it's become a bit of a game in our production plant now, where we go around saying, well, what could this be used for? And there's all sorts of weird and wonderful ideas come out. Some of them we take on board, others we don't take on board. But there is that mindset, which is great to see people thinking, oh, what can we do? So and that's cascaded all the way through the business now, where people are identifying items that we can reuse and repurpose and so on. So that's really good. But the second thing of that as well is when we looked at the Kevlar that we use to wrap the high density polyethylene cylinder, we thought, right, what can we do with this? So we went back to Composites UK, where we are members, and said, can we speak to somebody about this? And they put us in touch with a specialist of what we could use for secondary supply. And their answer came back to me was fascinating. Nobody's looked at it yet. And I said, well, why not? Surely people should be looking at this. And said, well, it'll last for 100 years. So there's a long way to go yet before we have to look at repurposing. So, and that's longevity. Now, with us, we recycle after 20 years. So we're looking at flak jackets you can put it into now as material, tyres, car tyres. So we are starting that process now, and we've started talking to the manufacturers as well to work with us on that journey to find those solutions as well. But, something that lasts 100 years. Wow, it's amazing.
It's refreshing, Andy, to hear that you're looking at the issue now before it comes around the corner, and you see so many times that we come up with such great products, and we don't look into their whole life and look at what we're going to do with the product when it no longer becomes suitable for its intended purpose. So yeah, and that's testament to you and Britannia Fire for pushing the boundaries, being one step ahead, and being what I call totally committed to this whole life journey for a product, and ensuring that you can maximize the benefits of it when its intended purpose has been fulfilled. So all these metal extinguishers that we're taking out of service because we're pushing P50s into the market with composites, what are you doing with them?
Yeah, so we looked at that as well. So we have a monthly management meeting, and it always sticks on the agenda of what we can repurpose things for. Even we've now opened our own recycling centre, so we've got another factory we just opened last year, which is dedicated to recycling these units. But when you look at some of the extinguishers we're taking out, and I'll give you one example, we've just done a huge install for Bradford University, and at Bradford University, they had lots of extinguishers, probably oversubscribed. In fact, definitely were oversubscribed. And they said, well, yeah, we want to go with this option. It's far better. There's huge cost saving for them. What we're going to do with the old ones? So we've got a good relationship with FireAid. And I spoke to the ladies at FireAid and said, look, we've got a few hundred extinguishers here. Nothing wrong with them. They're still in date. I'm willing to take them back to our factory and service them all to make sure they've got at least 12 months life, but hopefully we wouldn't send anything anywhere that hasn't got at least 3 years life. So, which is what we did. And we took them back to our factory. We reworked them, reboxed them, palletized them, shoved them in a shipping container. And we sent some to Ghana. We've sent some to the refugee camps over in France. When we did, that was a few years ago, we did the Calais one, and that was amazing because that was Brighton University actually. We repurposed some of their extinguishers, and the gentleman, the company that we dealt with in Bristol, who organised it wasn't FireAid this time, but this was a different organisation. The guy rang me literally the following week of us shipping them to them. And I couldn't believe it. And sent me some pictures, and it's on our website as well. You can see where they had a huge fire in the camp, and they had no provision of extinguishers before, and this actually saved the camp. But more importantly, I'm sure it would have saved lives as well. So, and there's no better feeling than that when you get something like that. We don't often hear good news stories regarding fire, but that certainly was one for us.
Very, very much so. And yeah, it's Britannia Fire certainly to be applauded for initiatives such as that. So, are you able to give us any examples of those customers and the savings and benefits that they've seen?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one that always springs to mind because I was involved with this from day one, and was one. It was probably one of the very first big blue chip names that we got was Anglian Water. Um, they, as you can imagine, Anglian Water have substations or water treatment plants in the middle of nowhere, and trying to find them is difficult. Um, so sending an engineer to service extinguishers, it could be like find a gate, walk 20 meters to the northwest, and then you'll see a green door, and behind that's the pumping station. So to get the logistics of these extinguishers service was a big plus for those guys. But now, 10 years on, we just replenished them all for them. And they saved 500,000 in the first instance, in the first tranche that they did. And that a similar figure for the next 10 years. So £1 million worth of savings to a water treatment company is huge savings. But it's not just water treatment plants. We've done NATS, the National Air Traffic Controllers. They again, logistic wise, it was a difficult one where they've got huge mass in the middle of nowhere, tops of hills and what have you, escorting people around to service their extinguishers. And they put them in. 10 years on, we're now replacing them all for them, and we've upgraded them to the PFAS-free version. And again, they're going to get some big savings on their servicing costs. Not to mention the carbon footprint reduction as well. So you imagine all these sites having engineers turn up every day, and a man in a van, and so on. And you can eradicate all of that carbon footprint in the process as well. It's a win-win for everybody. And Brighton University, which we mentioned earlier, who donated all their extinguishers to the camps. Again, another 10 years saving for them, and probably about another 150, £200,000 saving. So, these people are really happy. Our retention rate of customers is phenomenal. People are really enjoying it, and enjoying the cost savings as well. So it's good.
Yeah, and they're not insignificant figures either. When you're looking at £500,000 a time at Anglian Water and £150,000 a time within the university, and when we look at Anglian Water, if we're saving money there, then at the end of the day, you and I are probably saving money because they're not having to put it on our bill. So let me ring the chairman of Wessex Water, because I think that he needs to speak to you, because that way I can get a reduction in my bill. But joking aside, this success of the P50 range is not just unique to the UK. There are happy customers across the globe, aren't there? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, our exports are equally as good. In one particular marketplace, which is huge for us, is Germany at the moment. We are making some real big headways there. We are sending in around about 2,500 to 3,000 units a month over into Germany at the moment for a big client who has lots of factories and showrooms, and they need to be putting these P50s in. It's a big project. It's going to take us quite some time to do, but we're up for the challenge. Also, out in the Middle East with the IFSJ event, leaders event last year, that enabled us to get really close to ADNOC with our partners, Concord, out there. We had real good, meaningful discussions, sat around the table at the event, and that brought new business for us. And we've already put some units in. We are putting some more in, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months, and significant numbers as well. And we're hopeful this is now going to become the specified extinguisher of choice for ADNOC. And yeah, exciting times. But it's not, we're good success in India. You look at India, there's about 700 fire extinguisher manufacturers in India. It's crazy. I mean, the place is huge anyway. But, and we're exporting from the UK to India our extinguishers. and they're putting them in government buildings. So we must be doing something right.
Exactly, and I think that you're doing a lot right to be truthful, and it's the no nonsense approach. There's never anything hidden in any cupboards with Andy Spence and Britannia Fire. You hear exactly as it is, and it says exactly what's in the tin, which is a credit to you all. But it's great to hear the success you had at IFSJ Leaders last year, and we're delighted that you came back and platinum sponsor for 2025. And I hope that the next time that we're having a chat, you'll have had similar successes with the products from people you meet at this year's show. So, PFAS chemicals banned and restricted in countries across Europe and the Middle East in the coming years. So, how are you preparing at Britannia Fire to deal with the latest issue with PFAS?
Yeah, again, this is something that we've had some real focus on with our whole teams and testing. We're fortunate that we at Britannia Fire have our own fire testing facility as well, where we can test new products, etc. So probably about 2 or 3 years ago, we embarked on the journey of trying to find a PFAS-free fire extinguisher. It's not just the foams that you use because of the chemicals that are out there. You have to have different nozzles and different pressures and types. So it's a long process to do all the testing to get a product to market. Then you have to get to notified bodies to do it, and they're all full because everybody's got this issue. But we're well ahead of the game now. We were the first British manufacturers to put one on the market, as far as I'm aware. We don't sell any products now in our business that has these chemicals in them, either PFOA or PFAS. So I think, again, we were the first ones to completely ban it from our production. And we are out there actively encouraging people to get ahead of the game. Swap the units out now. Look, the ban's not here yet, so let's be really clear. So there's lots of scaremongering out there. People say, "Oh, you've got to take these out now." Blah 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 blah. The actual PFAS ban is not in place. It's coming. It'll probably be here this year, but we expect a derogation period of probably about 5 years before you have to do anything in its totality. But why would you want these cancer-causing chemicals in your premises? So get ahead of the game, think forward, put a product in there that's going to last you for 20 years. You're not going to have these issues going forward. And you can bet your bottom dollar, as soon as a ban comes into place, the cost to dispose of these chemicals is going to go through the roof. So, I would definitely recommend doing it earlier, sooner rather than later. But also, I'm telling you, right now, there is not a ban as yet, and that's on the 2nd of May 2025. So, but it is coming. We know it's coming, but please don't let these people scaremonger you into anything.
And you talk about being ahead of the game, and when it's a must do rather than a nice to do, the prices will go through the roof, and the more unscrupulous traders will take full advantage of that. But in terms of doing the right thing early, we know that there's a problem there. We know that it's an issue. So why wouldn't you show your commitment and due diligence in terms of, we know there's a problem, let's get rid of that problem now, rather than waiting to the 11th hour when initially we will probably see supply being an issue because everybody will want them at the same time. So to make life easier for end users and you that have got to manufacture them, if there was a gradual increase in the changeovers, then that would fit the bill for everybody. And at the end of the day, it would take this nasty chemical away and be a small part in the overall reduction. But hopefully in later conversations, we will be able to see a trend there where people are beginning to listen to experts such as yourself, Andy, and start planning accordingly. And facilities managers. I've been doing a lot of work recently with regards to facilities management and the whole role that they play within life and fire safety. So, again, there's a group of professionals that when they look at planning for firefighting equipment within their buildings, there's certainly an area that they should be looking at. And again, this is something that we will be covering in the IFSJ Leaders event this year. So watch this space. So, Andy, we always talk about hopefully one day there'll be one size fits all. Well, with the P50, we're just about there, aren't we?
Yeah, so the P50 is a true multi-purpose fire extinguisher. So it's safe for use on Class A fires, Class B fires. It's safe for use on live electrics at a distance of 1 meter, and certified by third-party accredited bodies for that purpose as well. And we also have a small F class on the P50 itself. So it pretty much is a multi-purpose unit. The only thing that we don't recommend is putting on gas fires, and that's not that it wouldn't put the fire out, but it's written to standards that powder is the only one you should use. So that's the only thing that's stopping it. But yeah, it is. It's really you've got customers now having multiple extinguisher points with 2 extinguishers on. You take away that decision paralysis. In the event of a fire, you run to the fire point, you don't know which one to pick up and which one to use. If you've got one that's certified for all of these fires or typical fires in that environment, then that decision is made for you. Just pick it up and use it with no confusion or delay in that. And Heathrow, that was a big thing for them, having this capability, because they have so many travellers through the airport who, they wouldn't know which one to pick up. They might not, English is probably not their first language, and they wouldn't be able to read the instructions. And rather than put huge amounts of instructions on there in different multiple languages, I don't think there's space for all of the languages, but this just takes away that decision paralysis and puts the right solution in front of the customer as well in the need of using an extinguisher. And then, of course, the big companies, all they want to do is sell you to, service to, and ultimately scrap to. So we don't want to do that. We're not about taking our customers for a ride. We put a good quality unit in with a higher fire rating than most units out there, and it's that multi-purpose. So there's no need for the 2 or more.
Exactly. And you touched there about the big companies. Sell to, service to, take 2 out. I remember back in the day when I was still in uniform, going and doing the fire safety inspections and speaking to responsible people in the various locations who were proud to say, "Oh, we've just bought 2 new fire extinguishers because we knew you were coming." But I said, "So what was wrong with the old ones?" "Oh, the paint was chipped on some of them. They didn't look overly nice." And I said, "You didn't think about putting a plastic cover over them?" "Oh no, it wasn't recommended." And the engineer was really nice. And I think it's still going on, Andy. You've still got this issue, even though we're now under the fire safety order. We still see the big boys and girls going in with their big smart vans and lovely uniforms that need to be paid for, that are going out and trying to squeeze as much money out of the uninformed that they possibly can. So where we can get the message out through podcasts like this and through the pages of the International Fire and Safety Journal to responsible people to say, you know what, if you're in any doubt, ring up your local fire service or ring up Andy Spence, and Andy will give it to you as it is. He's not shy in telling people exactly what's there, and like me, Andy will always ensure that the information you're getting is credible and can be backed up with evidence. So if you're hearing this and we can save anybody a few shillings that hasn't got to go through replacing extinguishers that are perfectly good, then that will be a success. So Andy, we talked about the no need for the annual servicing, but the inspection every year for the P50s. What do Britannia Fire do for their clients in relation to that?
Yeah, so we train the people at install that how to carry out the inspection. It's a 30-second, 40-second inspection that needs to be done annually. I mean, you should always check monthly. It's best practice that your extinguisher is there in situ. But to carry out the maintenance schedule, it's a very simple process. To make it even easier, we've got an app for it. Everybody has an app for everything nowadays, isn't there? But we have an app which will talk you through it. But not only will it play a video showing you how to do the service, it'll also record where that extinguisher is, what its serial number is, when its expiry date is. And actually, even you can export the data as well to an Excel spreadsheet, which will give you a full asset list of what you've got, where it should be. So you can print that off, download it, and print that off as well. Um, and then you've got website, telephone support, and email support from our team as well. And ultimately, look, if you're not happy with something and you want something, we'll send an engineer out. We can do that for you as well. So, we're there to support. But the app is so simple; it really is. So, and we're looking at developing that further as well going forward. But that's top secret at the moment. So, a few extra things we can put in there, which is really going to shake up the market even more. So.
Excellent. And again, that demonstration of support to the customer to make things as simple as possible, because they want to know their extinguishers are there, but they don't want to be spending a long time looking for them when they can be making a few extra widgets that are going to put a few extra pounds in their back pocket.
And don't forget as well, it's all backed up with a 10-year guarantee as well. So you've got that no quibble guarantee too.
And that in itself is worth a huge amount. And that peace of mind, especially when we're talking about fire and life safety equipment, that if we have to use it once, then we've been unlucky. But if it's there, we know that it's there, and it's that peace of mind that what you walk past every day could end up saving your life and your business. So that's got to be a good thing. So P50 extinguishers, and the fact that we're now entirely composite. In your personal opinion, metal extinguishers obsolete?
I wish there were. it may be a while before we completely take over the world with our composite extinguishers, but we're on it. We are. It is a goal. I don't think we'll do it in my lifetime, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually. But I always look at Coca-Cola for inspiration. When you look at Coca-Cola and you follow their journey, so 1889, I think it was, the first Coca-Cola bottle went on sale. So in 1889, they sold one bottle a day. In 2025, they sell 1.9 billion bottles per day. What a success story that is. Everything starts small. Our trajectory as a business is skyrocketing at the moment. So we're more than happy on what we're doing. We've had to spend over £1 million last year on refurbing our factory to accommodate just completely composite cylinders and move away from the steel units. We've had to invest in new machines. We've bought a second winder. And the winder itself is like £500,000. So it's big investment. We wouldn't be doing the investment if it wasn't working. So it's exciting. It's great to see. It's a passion of mine. It always has been. And yeah, let's just hope we can be that Coca-Cola success story in another 100 years. And yeah,
I have no doubt, Sandy, that you will be up there amongst the best with Coca-Cola. And I remember doing a study into Coca-Cola as part of my education, where we were looking at where customers looked at Coca-Cola for satisfaction, and also looked at how Coca-Cola dealt with their clients. And you remember back along in the 60s, and I think it was the late 60s, where Coca-Cola received a threat of syringes in bottles, and their reaction, and this was the US, and in their reaction was to take every bottle off the shelf overnight and replenish. The sales in Coca-Cola the week after went through the roof, because the confidence that the customer had in Coca-Cola's ability to deal with that crisis just proves for itself. So even we can turn the negatives into positives if it's handled correctly. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, manufacturing per se, every manufacturer has issues from time to time, but it's the way you deal with those issues that stands you out against your competitors. Great believer in that. Um, and everybody says to me, what happens if anything goes wrong? We've got a 10-year warranty. We give you a warranty that lasts 10 years. Um, you buy a Mercedes or you buy a BMW, it has a warranty because manufacturing things don't always go right. But doing the right thing when it's not gone right is how you win and succeed in business. So, if you have an issue, be open, be honest, deal with it, and your customers will keep coming back day after day.
very much so. And I can recall from personal experience when my new car was recalled for an issue with regard to software. Yes, it was something that I hadn't expected, but the way it was handled and the fact that the dealership came and picked up my car, dealt with the problem, and then brought my car back, it didn't hinder me at all. That lasting feeling of being appreciated and being dealt with, that took over the fact that there was a problem. So again, it's the way you handle it, and totally agree with that. So as we begin to wrap up today's podcast, Andy, the fire safety industry is evolving. I know that you're a proud member of the Fire Industry Association, and if I'm not mistaken, also a director on the board there. And the work that's been done by the FIA, both in the UK and across Europe, to put fire and life safety at the forefront of everybody's mind. What can we expect to see in the next 12 to 24 months within the industry that we should be keeping an eye out for?
I think it's a really exciting place to be at the moment. There's lots of exciting things happening. There's lots of change as well, and change it's not always for the better. There's some challenges coming up, and I think it's more in the engineering space for building engineering and what have you. So I know they're having a bit of a tough time, but it's for the right reasons. We need this change, and we need to be more diligent in what we do and how we operate. But innovation is going to play a huge key role in this. And for people who don't innovate and don't look at the bigger picture, they'll just get left behind. Look at Nokia, just left behind. Kodak, left behind. Blockbuster, left behind. These people just bury their heads in the sand. They put all of their efforts in keeping with the norm, and people just go straight past you and leave you in the dust. So, have an open mind, work with people, do the right due diligence, and you'll go far. The FIA is absolutely flying as a trade body, a trade association. I think it's the largest in Europe now, which is a great. And we're doing huge things in the FIA in Cyprus. I'm going with a few others to Gibraltar week after next to do a conference out there to show Gibraltar what the FIA in the UK can offer them, and hopefully set up an FIA Gibraltar as well. So lots of exciting things happening. But innovation is key, and innovation is what's going to drive everything.
Very much so. I was in Dubai last week for a fire safety forum that was put on by Dubai Civil Defence, and the focus of that was innovation. And it was a pleasure to see the work that they were doing with young children in schools and colleges, and to see the results of a competition where students were tasked with coming up with life-saving innovation, and some of it was what we looked at years ago, Andy, as being space age that would never come to fruition in our lifetime. But here we are looking at it. So I can imagine that what those kids were showing last week will become the norm in their lifetime, and we need to be encouraging that and going back to schools and colleges and saying, fire and life safety, fire engineering is a great career that will take you around the world and start looking at dealing with this global shortage of professionals within the sector. Um, those of you listening to the podcast haven't got the advantage that I have of looking at Andy Spence, but also looking at the picture that's on the wall behind him, which is a great image of a bulldog wearing a crown with the wording "Cool Britannia" written underneath it. And if I have no doubt that if we were to cut Andy Spence in half, "Cool Britannia" is written through him. The passion that he and the whole company at Britannia Fire have got is testament to their commitment to fire and life safety. And Andy, it's always a pleasure, my friend, to talk to you. Looking forward to spending time with you next week. And all that's left for me to say is I'm Duncan White. I'm the managing editor of the International Fire and Safety Journal. And I've had the pleasure today to talk to Andy Spence, Joint Managing Director at Britannia Fire. Thanks very much, Andy.
Cheers, Duncan. Thank you.